Hi everyone, I'm Geri Ford and welcome to my studio. And what are we going to do tonight? Tonight we're going to use our IQ Designer or My Design Center on my Babylock Destiny. It can also be used on the Dream Machine, the Solaris, as well as the Luminaire. And this is a nice little exercise that gets you familiar with the applique process and the in the hoop process. We're going to be learning how to use some drawing tools here. We're going to use the shapes that are built into the machine. We're going to use our hoop sizes, and we're going to mostly learn about layering for applique and how to layer designs. And yes, I know we've got a million mug rugs and who needs another one, but this is a good way to learn and get familiar and comfortable with the IQ Designer or My Design Center function in these wonderful machines. Now we know this is going to be in 3 parts. We got to do one part for the mug rug. We've got another part to do for the tree and a third part to do for the house. But you know, I like to put everything together and have one master, and then we'll go ahead and start digitizing for each of the 3 sections. I'm going to go to IQ Designer. Okay, I'm going to turn my grid on. So I'm going to go to my settings page. And I want to turn my grid. I've got my display for 5x7, which is what we're going to be using. And I want to put this on a 1-inch grid. Just helps to keep things lined up. And then OK. Let's set up our playing field. I know it's got to be 5x7. I know I've got to do some outline stitches to get those mug rug pieces into place. So I'm going to go to my Shapes tool. I want to pick the hoop, and I'm going to pick it 7x5. I want to change the size of it because it's less than 5x7. Okay, I'm going to increase this till it's 5x7. One more. Okay, and then widen this to 5 inches. Because we're going to turn this into a running stitch, so it won't be any problems. Okay, I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to change the properties to a running stitch. I'll make it red, a single running stitch, and flood that. And so now there's my perimeter, and I know it's 5x7. That's ready to use. However, right now we're just creating the master. I want to do a tree. Tree would be the next thing to be stitched. So, are there any shapes here I can use that resemble a tree? And this would be 5x, so I need to turn everything. That kind of looks like a tree. So I'll select that. Okay. Oh, way too big. And I need to change its shape, so I'm going to hit size. I'm going to really bring this down because it doesn't look anything like a tree. Narrow it. I think I'll even change it to green now, so I'm going to go to line properties, change it to green, and a running stitch is fine. And a green running stitch, flood that. And I'm going to move this. Select it. And move it. I'm going to use the size or the rotate in order to move it with the lines. And I want to move it near the end, and I want it just a little bit bigger. Okay. And move it inside this box. Maybe a little narrower. It's a little, yeah, that kind of looks more like a tree. Move it to where I sort of want it, or close to it. Put it inside because I'll put my house here. Okay, I kind of like that. Okay, let's go ahead and put that house in there. So I've got more shapes tools. And if I go to the second shapes tool, look, I've got a house already. Okay, sort of a house, most of what I want. Okay, it's way too big, so I'm going to hit size and bring it down. It's way too big. But how too big? While it's still highlighted in red, don't touch anything else. I want to rotate it 90 degrees. Okay, it's still way too big, so that's okay. I'm going to go back to size. Let's make this smaller. Okay, I'll start moving it into place. I can make it wider, taller, over here a little bit, and make it a little bit wider. Because I have it inverted, I'm having to, what I think is taller is really wider. Let me go ahead and change this to brown, because I'm going to do the chimney next. Okay, so I want to pick a shape of a chimney. That kind of is a chimney shape. Okay, so I'll take that. I'm going to make this smaller, so I'm going to go to size. Make it a lot smaller. Maybe a little narrower. Move it up. Rotate it. I'm hitting rotate. Turn it 90 degrees. I'm going to use my arrow keys to position it. Maybe a little. Size it. It's not quite the shape I want. And move it down. I want a door and 2 windows. I've already got the shape of the windows, so I'm going to select them. And I'm going to draw a box around the windows. Just 2 is all I need. Actually, I can go ahead and just do 1 is easier. Size and move it up. I also want a tree trunk. Use my drawing tool. So here's my drawing properties, and I want the freehand drawing. And I'll leave it in brown, that's fine. And I'm going to draw a trunk. So let's see. I'm not good at this. So I'm going to sort of here. You'll get a smoother line the faster you can draw, at least I can. Okay, I want another one up like that. Okay, that's good. I probably want to have some branches coming this way. There will be satin stitches, which are going to show in the middle. Okay, that looks good. I just now need to clean this up a little bit. So I'm going to make this a little bigger, and I'm going to erase parts. So now this is my eraser tool. I want the smallest erase piece. So notice here it gave me a choice of small, medium, and large. In the Solera and the Luminaire, you've got a digital number. The smaller the number, the tinier your pixel line. I'm going to take the small one, and I'm going to erase. I don't need this part of it. I just need to clean up some of these lines here. They look pretty bad. Get the little hooks and the extra stuff out of it. So I'm going to erase some of these little bits. Okay, here's a little bit here. Little hook. I really don't need that. All right, I think that's good. I'm going to come down to the bottom. I'm not going to need any of this stuff. Went too far outside. And I don't want these windows because I'm going to put them back like I want them, and I also probably don't want the bottom of this house. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this part. Don't get too concerned about colors. This is just my master, which I'm going to be just setting a running stitch to it and saving it, so that we can go back and make any changes and take the components out as we start to do the layers. Okay, I'm going to go to a bigger tool here, erase these windows because I don't want those. I think what I'll make is a nice bay window. Okay, instead of 2 windows, I think I'll make 1 bay window and a door. So I'm going to select this one here. Okay, and I want to size that because I'm going to make this the door. So I want it the other way. That's a good enough door. I'm going to put it into position. Yep, that's where I want it. Okay, and now I'm going to select this window. And I'm going to hit size I'm going to move it down here, and I want a nice bay window, so I'll probably position it. Let's make it bigger and wider. I think the door needs to be bigger. It's going to be tricky to get that door. Hit the select key. I'm going to go bigger so that I can see it, because I need to select it and nothing else. So I'm going to select the door. Let's make sure I don't get anything but that door. Okay, good. All right, I need to make this bigger. Okay, that kind of looks like a door. Select this window. Okay, it's not nearly in the right spot. So I'll hit size. It needs to be a lot wider and bigger. No, maybe not that big, but a lot wider. And scoot it down. I could take this and do that. You can also slide it. Okay, I think I'm happy with the looks of this house. So I'm happy for this master. I did not erase these things here because I need this whole shape for the tree. I need this whole shape here for the roof as well. Okay, let's go ahead and save this. I'll hit OK. I am now going to save it into the memory pocket of my machine or on a USB, whichever you like. So now that puts it into, I'll put it into internal memory. Okay. First thing we need to do is the start of the mug rug, which entails 3 layers. One to set the placement for your batting, another stitch to tack down the batting, and another tack down to tack down your fabric. Bring in my master. There it is. The only thing I want is this outside line. I can get through a lot of it by selecting most of this inside. I'm going to use the cut key, scissor key, to get rid of most of it. See, now that most of that's gone. So I'm going to amplify this a little bit, or zoom in. And I want to be remaining one clean box. Go to my select, go real close to that line, and cut. That gets most of it out. Now we've got to get these little bits out. So I'm going to zoom in, and I zoom by using the % key to pan to the correct section. Destiny Dream Machine, I can use this right here to move around. If you have Solaris Illuminaire, you'll see something that looks like a hand about right there. You'll hit the hand, which is a pan key, go to the section you want, unselect the pan key, erase what you want. I'm going to make this as big as I can so I know what I need to take out. With the Destiny Dream, you just use this little box to navigate. So I'm going to erase with the smallest pixel, which is 2 millimeters, I believe, on the Destiny Dream. I mean on the Solaris Illuminaire. I'm going to erase everything here. Yes, they're 2 different colors, but we'll fix that in a minute. If you accidentally erase too much, hit the undo key. Now I'm going to go to my Run Properties, which is this piece of paper right here on the Run Properties section. I'm going to change it to a double run, which is the thinnest thing I can do. I'm going to go ahead and turn it all to red. Okay. Then I'm going to Flood, which is this box with the bucket, and I'm going to touch any red. Okay, it is all red, a run stitch. Go to Next, because now I'm going to assign the stitch properties. Then I go to Next, and it's showing me one outline. This is my stitch length. I want to make that stitch length a little longer. Set. going to now save this into memory so that, because I'm going to use this another time later on in the process, so I want to save this shape. So plus and save it into internal memory, and I'm good to go. It's now in embroidery. Okay, hit set, okay, all that stuff until you get all the way to embroidery. I am going to duplicate. Here's the duplicate key. It's going to look like two pieces of paper. It may be a different place on your machines. Check your owner's manual. Hit that. Go to size. Place it in the middle. Duplicate it again. Size. Place it in the middle. Okay. I need these to have 3 different color stops in here. So I'm going to go to my colors here. They all show red, so I'm going to touch the middle one and make it maybe green. Touch the third one, make it maybe blue. Okay, so now I have 3 color stops. I'm happy with that. You can save this as a separate file if you like at this point, because you may want to make different mug rugs. So this is always going to be the base to your mug rug. Okay, so but now what section do we want to work on next is the tree. So I'm going to hit add. Go into IQ Designer. I'm going to bring in that master again. Here's my master. Set. Okay. I'm going to erase everything I don't need now. I'm going to select and cut all this out. Cut. I'm going to erase what else I don't need. So I'm going to hit erase. This is sort of the master of my tree. So I'm probably going to save this because even this tree has got 3 sections. I'm going to work on the trunk. Okay, so that's going to be a fill stitch. Put this into memory. We want these to extend a little bit. Draw a line from there to there. Good. Okay. I always overdraw it and pull it back and take out what I don't need. Okay. Going to come up here and I'm going to erase all of this in the middle. First, I'm going to turn this into a no-sew line at the top. So hit no-sew and flood all of these as a no-sew line. So I have a region. I want it in brown. I want a regular region fill. I'm good. So I'm going to flood inside of the trunk. Okay, so that's all I want to stitch is the trunk. Okay, I'm good. Go to next. This is going to be my density. This is auto stitch. This is pull compensation. I'm going to leave that off for now. And this is underlayment. I'll turn it on because anytime you do a fill stitch, you should have some undersewing or underlayment. Okay, and then set. Okay, so we preview. If you have Solaris and Luminaire, as soon as you make changes, it already is a preview. So go all the way to embroidery. Add. Go back to IQD. Bring in my master. Actually, I just need the master tree because we're still working on the tree. So there's my tree set. Now we're going to just work on this outline right here. So I'm going to erase everything I don't need. Take my line properties, a double run to the green, and flood everything. Now it's all green. Go all the way to embroidery. Again, I'm going to change this run stitch to bigger. Set. Good. Preview. Okay. All the way to embroidery. That's going to be my placement for the green fabric for the tree. So I'm going to need another one, a duplicate, to tack down. So as this is selected, go into duplicate, hit size, and I'm going to move it so that one is superimposed upon the other one. Then I want to change the color because let me come down. I have 2 greens in a row. I don't want 2 greens, so I'm going to change this one to, purple. Okay. Now we need to do the satin stitch and the branch line. So I'm going to go to Add, IQ Designer, bring in my master, or retrieve. I'm going to erase everything but what is around this tree. To change this now to green. Satin stitch is good. Okay, good. Flood the line, and I want to make sure I have all of this. Make sure it's all green. So I'm going to go to next. I'm going to switch this to metric because I don't know how wide 0.08 is. So I'm going to go to my settings page. I think it's page 8. Change that to metric and OK. All right, 2 millimeter wide is not big enough. So I want this to be 4 millimeter wide and set. Make sure it's all linked together. Hit set. I'm going to add, and I need to go back to IQ Designer and let's get those branches for the tree. So I'm going to bring in my tree. Okay, I need narrow satin stitches, so I'm going to erase everything but the branches. I'm going to go to my line properties. It's a zigzag. Brown is good. And I want to do a zigzag, and then I'm going to apply. So I'm flood these lines. Okay, they're all good. Next. Okay, I'm going to link these together because I'm going to make changes to all of these lines. I want to make this probably 2.5 millimeters wide. Don't need it really big. They're just branches. Okay. Preview. Set. Okay. Okay, my tree's done. All right, now let's do the house. So we will add IQD. Bring in my master. This one. Set. Let's get rid of the stuff we don't need. What parts do we want and what goes first? I'll do everything in the background first. We'll do the chimney, the window, and the door. All of the placement stitches and the tack down. So what I want to do is I want to erase everything but my placement stitches. Let's erase. I'm going to draw a line. I need that extending beyond the roof a little bit. So I need a point-to-point line, and I'll make this like an orangey brown, or that reddish brown, because it's the chimney. Okay, and draw from here to here. Just needs to be a little bigger. Undo. I'll make it bigger. There we go. And just need it to come down a little bit there and erase what I don't need. All right, that's the placement for that one. Those are my placement lines. Placement and tack down for the applique, for the chimney, the door, and the window. I think I'll make the chimney the red brown. Gonna make the door yellow, flood the door, and I mean the window yellow, and I think I'll flood the door blue. So I'll just leave that red. Okay, so next. Okay, I'm going to make that. I want this about 2.5, that one, set. Next one, I want that brown, I'm gonna make that 2.5, set. And make the next one, the window is yellow, and 2.5. Set. Okay, preview, and go all the way to embroidery. Okay, set. All right, there. I want to duplicate these because we want a tack down, a placement and a tack down, because they're going to be underneath the basic part of the house. So I'm going to go to duplicate, size, and move that one set right on top of the other. Okay, that's good. Then I need to go to color. All right, let's go. Let's go first to the tree. Okay, don't need that one. Now it's good. Okay, now that's the, okay, we'll leave that one red because we can do the placement all in one color. So we'll go to that one, make this one red also. Red. Okay. And next, I got a weird green here. I'm not sure where that's coming from. It's something odd here, but I will skip over that. Okay, and next, red. This red is the door again, so I'm going to say the door is going to be in blue. I want to force a color stop. Okay, next one I want to do is the window, so I'm going to change that to that orangey red, whatever it's called, carmine. You might want to write these down as you do that. Yellow is the window. I can leave that window as yellow because then I know what colors to put down. So that's going to tack it down. So the next thing we need to do is let's put the house on top of it. So go OK. I'm going to add IQD. Going to go back to my master house. The master house. Nothing else. Set. Okay, so from this, we need to do this bottom part of this house. I need to erase everything else. Select, and I want to erase this top part. So I'm going to change this all to, let's make it this, I don't know, pink. Okay, line. Flood everything. Flood this. So it becomes all one line. Anything else? Okay, we're good. Next. Okay, make this a longer stitch line. 2.5 set. Okay, good. Take that all the way to embroidery. Okay. I am going to duplicate it. Duplicate. Size. This is quite a complex design. Okay. Color. I want to go all the way to the bottom. 2 deep roses. Change one to whatever color you like, orange. Okay. Let's do the door next. So we're going to put the door on top of that. So let's go ahead and go to Add. IQD. Let's add the door. Go back to my master. Or master house. Master house. Set. Erase everything but the door. We've already put our fabric down for the door. So all we need to do is the satin stitch around it. So I'm going to change this to a blue satin stitch. That's good. Flood the door. I think it's all, there we go. Next. I want that to be at least 3.0 or 3.5 is good. Set. Preview. Okay, we're done with the door. It's in there. Okay, and next we need to put in some lines. So I'm going to add QD. Let's go back to our house. I'm going to erase everything but the window. Window panes here. So I am going to draw straight line. Being that I can't draw a straight line, I'm going to do it off to the side. Okay, I want it straight up and down. I'll leave it black for now. Okay, that's good. Select it. Move it. Okay, and duplicate it. Rotate it. Let's move it into position. I want that about there. That'll work. And duplicate this one and move it. And then I'm going to erase the extra bits. I'm going to save this window. Why? Because I want this to be a different color than the outside and a different width. And if they are touching, you can't. You need to separate them. So I'm going to go ahead and save that window. Because I'm going to erase the green. Satin stitch is good. I'm going to leave that black, that's fine. Just make sure it's all the same color, that there's nothing weird in there. Okay, next. I want this to be 2 millimeter, maybe 2.5 wide. Not much bigger than that. Set, preview, and put that in there. Okay, all the way to embroidery. Okay, we got that going. All right, I'm going to add the outer windowsill. IQD, bring in my window. Make it bigger and erase this black part. The panes, and I just want the outside. So erase the inside. Make this green. Satin stitch, that's good. I'm going to flood, make sure everything is good. Okay, next. I want this to be 3.5. Is it all linked? Yep, it's good. 3.5. Set. Okay. All the way to embroidery. All right, we got a door, a windowsill. Now we need to put the satin stitch down the sides of the house, and we're good. I don't need to put a satin stitch along this edge because that's going to get caught in the seam anyway. Okay, so we need to add the sides of the house. So I'm going to go to IQD, bring back my house. Also, while we're at that, we might as well do the satin stitch around the chimney. Okay, so we need to erase most of this. So I need to go to my properties. I'm going to first work on this roof. Satin stitch in this clay brown and flood that. Okay, I'm going to now go to a satin stitch in, what color we're making this house. Let's make this house pink, whatever color we decide. But I want to do a satin stitch, so I'm going to flood here and here. Okay, now if I hit link, it's going to give me properties for all of them. I don't want the same properties for all of them, so I'm going to go back. This is this wall. I want this one to be 3.5. I want this one to also be 3.5. But this one I want to be 3. Okay, that's what it's going to look like, so we're good. Let's go to embroidery. Last part is the roof, so we're going to add IQD, we'll add the roof section, so go ahead and retrieve the house. Set. Erase everything but the roof. I want a satin stitch. I want it in dark pewter. Okay, and I'm going to flood everything. I think it's in here. There, it's all flooded. Next. No, we need to make that first, not a, I need to change this to a running stitch, not a zigzag. So flood. I think it's all the same, okay? Next. Change that to 2.5. Set. Preview. Okay, all the way to embroidery. So here's my placement. Okay. Okay, I need a duplicate that. Match it up with size. Okay, change the last color. Go all the way to the bottom. To dark gray, change the color of the second one to whatever. Okay, and last thing we add is one more roof. IQD to the roof. Erase everything but the roof. Just, I could have saved it. That would have been saved us some time. Change this to a satin stitch, and I will make it dark, light gray. Flood everything. Is everything light gray? Nope. Everything should be light gray, and it is. Okay. Next, want to make that 3.5. Okay. All the way to embroidery. Our scene is done. Last thing we need to do is the last outline for the rest of this mug rug. So I'm going to go add IQD, and I've got, I think I've saved that. I can't remember if I did or not. Let's see. I did. I saved it. Set. Change this to a running, I'm going to change this to a bean stitch. I'm going to make it another pink. Set. And flood. And it's all one size. I want to make this 2.5 Also, don't need such tiny stitches. Preview. We are now ready to stitch this out. So I'm happy with what I've got. So I'm going to go ahead and save this into memory, and then let's stitch it out and see what it looks like. Okay, here's the finished design. So it's ready to go into the embroidery machine. So that's what it looks like finished. And I'm going to hit set. Loaded the hoop with my tearaway stabilizer, but you can use any other stabilizer that you like. And for this project, I'm going to need some scrap of batting, at least 6 inches by 8 inches. For the fabrics, I have chosen to use this fabric for the background, but I'm going to use the opposite side because I just like it better. So that's at least 6 by 8 inches. And then I've got two 6 by 8 inch pieces that I've cut in half. And I just did a little hem. You could also just fold over an extra piece and just have a fold for the backing. And I'm going to use the bright side for the backing. Okay, now for the applique pieces, here's what I've chosen. Okay, this I'm going to use for the house. This is the roof. Scraps, yellow for the window, green for the tree, blue for the door, and this is going to be the chimney. And that's all the pieces I have. The colors I've selected, I've got a green to match, blue, black for the windowsill, or for the window panes, or I might use white. I might probably use white. And then gray for the roof. This is for the sides of the house. And I have another brown for the tree. And a light brown for the chimney. Okay, so those are the colors. Okay. So anyway, here is my 5 by 7 hoop. So I've got the white thread loaded in here because we're going to attach the batting. Okay, it's just going to show me the stitching, the placement for, it's hard to see on here, for the batting. I'm only going to let it go one time. Next color stop. And this is the placement for the batting. So I'm going to let that stitch off camera, and then when it's done stitching, I'm going to take the fabric, take the hoop off the machine, but leave the fabric in the hoop, and trim all this excess batting around the edge. And I will do that off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have trimmed away the excess batting. I'm going to put the right side of my fabric, or the part I want to use, just on top, floated on top, so that you have at least a 1/2 inch of covered, 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of coverage around the excess of the seams, and I'm going to stitch the next color stop. And this will complete the front background fabric. And I'll let that stitch off camera, and I'm only going to let it stitch one time. There's no need to have double stitching. But we don't have the option of having only a single row of stitching. So I'll be back. Okay, this next color stop is going to do the trunk of the tree. So I've switched to brown and needle, and it's going to stitch the trunk. And I will be back when it's done stitching. Okay, I finished the tree trunk, but notice I've got a little bit of white showing up here. So what I did towards the end is that I ended up playing with the needle tension, and I finally ended up switching to the correct bob in case I had the wrong one in. But I'm not going to take that out or redo it. I'm just going to take a brown marker and touch it up. Okay, the next color is going to show the placement for the tree applique. So I switched to green because that's what's going to be stitched anyway. Okay, I'm only going to let it go around one time. Stop and advance it forward. Okay, so I'm going to place my applique fabric over top so that it covers all the stitching. And this time I will let it stitch twice. So this is going to tack down the edges of the tree. I'm just going to let it do that. And then after that, after it's done stitching here, I'll remove this hoop from the machine and trim away the excess fabric from around the tree. And I'll do that off camera. So I will be back. Okay, now it's trimmed, and the next color stop is going to do the satin stitch around the edges of the tree. And again, this is going to take time. You've seen me stitch so many times before. This is no different than anything else. And I'm going to go ahead and finish stitching this off camera. Okay, and noticed it only did the satin stitch between here and here because the house is going to cover that part. Okay, so the next color, I'm going back to the brown to put the branching in the middle of the tree. And then this is the brown. So I will be back again. Okay, I'm just going to leave this brown in here because here it stitched the branches on the tree. Next, it's going to stitch the placement for the door. Yes, I could have made all of these the same color, but I didn't. I'm just going to leave it in brown so you can see it. Here's the door. Don't need that anymore. And I'm not going to let it, I'm just skipping ahead because I don't want to keep stitching this. So, okay, now here's the chimney. These are just the placements, so I don't really care what color I have. Back on this, I should have made these three the same. And now it's the window positioning. Ahead. Okay, now it's the tack down. I'm going to put gray in so it'll do all of these three pieces, and then we'll change threads as we come to the satin stitch. Okay, here's the blue. Tack down the door because I'm going to do a blue door. Now it's going to be a little piece for the chimney. And next is going, after this will be the yellow for the window. I think I'll put yellow in the window because it'll be just imply that the lights are on. I'm going to go ahead and trim all these away because now we're going to start laying down the colors. Well, little piece of green showed up. Okay, and next it's going to be the outline for the house fabric. So I will be back. Okay, everything is cut out. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch this one. It's going to be the outline or the placement for the fabric for the block of the house. Notice it's stitching on top there because we're going to have to do a reverse applique in these parts where the window and the door are. Just going to let that go. Stitch ahead. Okay, and now I'm going to place my house fabric on top. Okay, I put the house fabric on the top, and I've made a little slit over top of where the window would be. and a little slit where the door would be, just to make it easier to cut out that reverse applique. Okay, and I will stitch those down. I'm going to be careful going over that slit. Where is it going first? Okay, so now I've trimmed this away. Now what I should have done, and this is an error, I shouldn't have trimmed this below the house, because what happens is this is going to sew so close to that edge, you're going to end up having it stick out, poke out with time. So I should have left this down fabric all the way to here, but I'm not going to take it out. Okay, next is blue to stitch the door. And again, this is going to be a little long, so I will be back. Okay, I think I'll put white in there because I think I want white window panes and window sills. So I'm going to use white as the next color. It's going to do the detail work. Okay, I will be back. The window frame is going to be white, and again, I will be back when it's done stitching out. So it's turning out pretty good so far. Okay, next I put the light gray in the needle because it's going to do the satin stitch along the sides of the house. And again, you will see how that's going to stitch out. And put the light brown in the needle to outline, stitch, and to satin stitch the edge of the chimney. Okay, now to put in the last applique piece, it's going to be the outline for the roof. I'm going to trim this and I will be back and we will do the last stitch of the applique. Okay, now I'm going to seal in the edges with a satin stitch. Now this satin stitch strides on either side of this line, so it should be able to catch both sides of the fabric. And I will be back. Okay, it's finished. Let's just take a look at it before we do the last stitch. Okay, let's take a close look at what could have been improved. Well, my bobbin tension for one thing. But now what I'm going to do, because what I should have done instead, looking back on it, I should have left this long so it could get caught in the stitching, and I should have left this satin stitch off and had this go long as well to seal that in, because my concern is that this is going to pull up when you turn it. I think would be cute here is if I found some fabric that had a small print of like lamps or people or a painting or furniture or something. That would have been cute in the window as well. So anyway, now let's go ahead and finish this. So the last is to simply seal everything down. I have my two pieces here for the backing. I'm going to put those over top. Going to overlap that by about 1/2 inch. I want to have that fairly straight because I usually seem to get it crooked. Fairly straight there. Same thing here. Pull these back just a little bit. Okay, here we go again. When I get over here, I'm gonna hit the stop button and slowly walk it over. Stuck. Oh, it is going to do a bean stitch. That's the one thing I have to say about IQ Designer is that I don't have control over the starts and the stops. So sometimes it will stitch in a manner that's just confusing. Like, why did it do that? I have no idea. Why did it start over here and go around once? I don't know. And I will let this finish off camera and I will be right back. It is all finished, so I'm going to remove this fabric from the hoop. Remove the stabilizer. Miter my corners, trim to 1/4 inch around and turn it right sides out, and then give it a good press. I'll be right back. Now, because I did not clip down here, because it would have been nice to have that fabric hanging out over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take it to my sewing machine and sew up another 1/8 inch higher. Simply because I know that's going to come out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on the sewing machine. Okay, here's the finished mug rug. I ended up having to stitch about 1/8 inch higher here, which ended up cutting off that bottom part of the zigzag, but that's okay. I don't think it was really necessary. But this actually turned out rather cute. So I hope you enjoyed this project. It was a good way to get familiar with your IQ Designer or My Design Center, and yet making something rather useful. So this was a very complex design. Try this out. Let me know how it goes. If you want a copy of my finished design, and I can put it in PES format for you, so you can compare what I've done and what you've done, then let me know at waltzquilt@yahoo.com, and I'll be happy to send it to you. If you don't have IQ Designer and you still want a copy of the finished design, again, say, hey, I just want a finished copy. Send that to waltzquilt@yahoo.com. So I hope you enjoyed this design. It was quick. Well, wasn't so quick in designing, but it will actually give you a good insight into the design process. Until next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment, and I'll see you next time. Bye.